If your planer doesn't feed the workpiece through as smoothly as it used to, the problem is almost certainly resin buildup. The first thing you should do is clean and wax the table and extension wings. You'll be amazed at how much that helps. But if that doesn't work, the problem's likely the rollers. Dust and resin has built up on them and they can't grip the workpiece like they used to. They need to be cleaned too, which is easy enough. But what you should clean them with seems to be one of the great mysteries of woodworking because the subject has been debated endlessly by even the experts. The debate centers around the rubber the rollers are made from. It is a fact that certain harsh chemicals and solvents are bad for rubber, but nobody seems to agree on what chemicals and solvents are too harsh for this purpose. Even the manufacturers disagree. I went through a bunch of manuals in preparation for this video. One said to use only a dry cloth. Another said to use alcohol or mineral spirits. Still another suggested a pitch or a resin dissolving solvent or a blade cleaner. If you ask the reps from these manufacturers, one's going to tell you not to use anything but water or it's going to destroy the whole machine. Another will say don't use anything that's petroleum based, but then they'll suggest to use mineral spirits, which of course is petroleum based. Most manuals are intentionally vague. They tell you to just clean them, but they don't say how. If these things are as fragile as folks on the internet would have you believe, why can't the people who make the machines agree on how not to destroy them? I think it's because they're not as fragile as people think. Sure, some solvents will cause rubber to swell, some will even dissolve it, but that's after a lot of contact. You're not soaking your rollers. You're wiping them with a cloth dampened by a solvent. Of course, that doesn't mean everything is safe. Use common sense. If the label on the can says don't use on rubber, you probably shouldn't use it on rubber. I also wouldn't use gasoline or bleach or ammonia or anything that's dangerous to handle or has harmful fumes. But mineral spirits, naphtha, alcohol, even a mild bit and blade cleaner like this Trend stuff that I use all over the shop, these are all perfectly safe. The Trend stuff actually has the added benefit that it works great to clean the blades themselves, as well as your saw blades and your rotor bits. I'll put a link to it in the notes below this video. If you have any doubts about a cleaner, just put it on a cloth and wipe a little bit on the end of the roller. After a few seconds, feel the roller with your finger. If it feels sticky, the solvent's attacking the rubber, you should use something else. Now once you find a solvent that you like, put it on a cloth and give the rollers a good scrub. This is going to be a pain because you obviously have to unplug the machine before you stick your hand in there. And since you can only access about a third of the roller's surface at a time and you can't rotate them manually by hand, you're going to have to clean what you can, then plug it back in, turn on the machine, let the rollers rotate and keep repeating until you get the entire surface. I've seen people try to hold a cloth on the roller while the machine runs. They reason that they can stay on the side of the roller away from the cutter head. But what happens if just a little corner of that cloth gets caught and sucked up by the roller? Guess which direction it's going to pull your hand in the split second it takes to react. There is no sewing stuff back on after it goes through a planer. If you absolutely don't want to use a solvent or chemical cleaner on your rollers, I have seen folks use one of these rubber cleaning sticks. I have one that I use to clean sandpaper with. They work great for that. You could hold it against a spinning sanding belt and it just renews the whole thing. Using that reasoning, I've heard of folks holding these against their planer rollers while the machine is on. I suppose this isn't going to get wrapped around a roller, and if it does come in contact with the cutters, it's not going to damage anything. But I'm a safety first guy, so I prefer to unplug. Either way, I'm going to link to a good source for rubber cleaning blocks like this in the notes below the video. I've also heard of people using the soles of their shoes, but these things are not very expensive, and one of them lasts for years and years and years, so I just buy them. Now, what if you've cleaned your rollers, you've waxed your bed, and everything was great for a while, but it didn't take long before the rollers started slipping again? Unfortunately, that's just going to happen if you plane a lot of pine or resinous wood. You'll simply be cleaning your rollers more often. Another cause, though, might be your dust collection. If you're using a shop vac or nothing to collect the dust, then a lot of it's falling back down on the workpiece. And as the rollers go over that, it's embedding that dust in the surface of the rollers. That's going to make them slip until you clean them again. So the better your dust collection is and the less pine you plane, the longer your rollers are going to stay clean. This video is sponsored by Trend Routing Technology. I've worked with these folks for years. They've always been so great to work with. They make great products and they support the online woodworking community, which is so important. So please thank them by visiting their website using the link in the notes below this video. For more great tips, tricks, and tutorials designed to make you a better woodworker, check out Stumpy Nubs Woodworking Journal. You can read and subscribe for free at stumpynubs.com.